Hello everyone, this is Felix and thank you for your time. Today I want to speak to you about attitude. It's another fundamental principle of success. I think at some point in time, all of you have been to a team building exercise and the motivational speaker comes there and tells you cheesy phrases like your attitude will always determine your altitude. And it gets you jumping around for about 10 minutes, but as soon as you've had lunch, you pretty much forget what he said. So I want to give you something else, something a little bit more tangible, something that you can use when you feel that you are struggling with the issue of attitude. And in order to do that, we first of all need to define what attitude is, where it comes from. If you look in the dictionary, Oxford purely says that attitude is the way that we feel about something or somebody. So which pretty much means that because we are human beings and have feelings, we all have attitude or attitudes. And the other thing is that attitude pretty much comes from our belief structures as kids, when we were taught the things that we were taught, the people that we were in contact with, etc. And then over the years, it's either evolved into what it is now, or some of it may have changed due to exposure and, other people being able to speak into our lives and we start seeing things a little bit differently. So the attitudes that we have will range. We'll have attitudes towards our friends. We'll have attitudes towards the dog next door. We'll have attitude towards our mother-in-law, etc., etc. And when you add up the sum total of all those attitudes put together will either determine whether you're a person that has got a good attitude overall or a negative attitude. And one thing that's important is that we all need to have positive attitudes, because it generally determines how well we progress in life, how well we deal with situations, how well we deal with negativity, and how we make decisions, etc. So it's absolutely important and absolutely imperative that we all have positive attitudes in life. So now I want to take this a little bit deeper and look at it from the perspective that the dictionary tells us that we have attitudes. So which pretty much means that we have attitudes towards different things, and each person will have different attitudes towards different things. That's what makes us unique. And let me give you an example in order to illustrate, is that you may have person A, let's call him Jack. And Jack is an overall nice guy. They've got good interpersonal skills, etc. But over the years, they've never been able to build up a good attitude towards finances for one reason or another. And as a result, they are broke. And then you've got John, who is another person, and he's an overall nasty piece of work. But over the years, he's built up a very good attitude towards money to the extent that he has learned how to make it, how to invest it, and obviously how to spend it. And that's why he always flaunts it in your face. So the question is, who's in a better off position? Is it Jack or is it John? It's not such an easy question to answer, is it? Because it is all highly dependent on what Jack and John actually value in their life. So if I ask you a question, what is it that you value in your life? And furthermore, what are the attitudes that you have towards those specific things that you value in your life? Are you able to answer that? And I know that most people will generally say that we all generally have good attitudes towards the things that we value in your life. But it's not always the case. Because sometimes you are not always aware of the attitude that you have towards something else. And it's not to say that it's your fault, but it's just the way that you've been built up. T. Harv Eker calls it your blueprint. What is your blueprint towards various things? For instance, you might have somebody who will tell you that they don't have the ability to learn how to use a computer. But it's not so much that it's the ability to use a computer, but it's their attitude towards how to learn how to use a computer. That's what's important. We need to examine our attitudes towards the things that we value and make sure that we have positive attitudes towards those things, because once we do that, it gets us to our place much faster. One thing that I know and one thing that I believe is that any skill that you want, any interrelational skills that you want, any business skill that you desire in your life, we have all the ability to learn them. So it's important that we have positive attitudes towards the things that we value. Winston Churchill always used to say that attitude is a small thing that makes a big difference. You want to make a big difference in your life? Make sure that you have positive attitude towards those things that are important. Hey, and always strive to become the best version of yourself that you can be, because once you do that, the world has no choice but to recognize you. My name is Felix Mpofu. Have a great week.